Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Swami Army series preview between India and South Africa, the ODI series. We're back again to give everyone our thoughts and our views on Team India and their cricket tours and their home tours as well. But in this case, they're traveling to South Africa for the first time without the greats of the game, without the likes of Sachin, without the likes of Dravid, Lakshman, and Ganguly. So it's definitely a new era of Indian cricket taking us forward, but nevertheless, we believe we have enough talent, and it's exciting times ahead. Now, joining us on the show tonight, our usual suspects, we have Angad from the Swami Army. Angad, welcome to you.
Thanks, Karthik. How are you going?
Very well, mate. Always glad to have you on board. And also, fresh from Mumbai and the following Sachin Tendulkar in his last series, we have Gaurav, the freelance journalist, and also part of our Swami Army as well. Gaurav, welcome back home, and glad to have you on board.
Thanks, Matt. Always good to be back and discussing cricket. Doesn't matter who's playing. Of course, when India's playing, it's always a pleasure to discuss.
Fantastic. Guys, we'll get kicked off straight away. As you all know, India is taking on South Africa, which will start tomorrow in South Africa. So whenever we tour South Africa, it's always a big challenge against the likes of Steyn and Morkel and the batting that they have in De Villiers and Callis. But in particular, the ODI series, MS Dhoni has come out and said it's probably a good way to start this tour for his young side, given that they've done really well in the ODIs till date or in the last couple of years or so, and obviously being world champions as well at that format. In terms of the team that's going to be playing in South Africa against South Africa, Angad, who do you think is is there anybody that has missed out, or do you think that the selectors have got it pretty much correct?
Well, with the way the team's been playing, I mean, they've won all six of their last limited over series. And the way the team played against Australia and the West Indies at home just in the last month, it pretty much picked itself. I can't see anyone getting in or being left out, maybe apart from like a Vinay Kumar or Ishant Sharma. So I think the selectors have got it pretty right. They're picking the guys on form. The batsmen are in great form. The bowling might be a bit of an issue, but I think there will be some assistance for the likes of Umesh Yadav, Shami Ahmed, who's been a revelation, and Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. So I think the team pretty much picked itself. There's a couple of other names in there like Amit Mishra and Ajinkya Rahane who might get in if there's an injury or so. But I think it'll be the same 11 that we're accustomed to seeing on the ground in the blue colours.
Absolutely, and you did mention that Shami Mohammed has come on to the scene and really taken off in the one-days and the test matches as well. I guess this will be a big test, Gaurav, for him, especially on some more assistive wickets, and whether he can take that form through into against South Africa.
Yeah, certainly, and especially the way South Africa struggled a little bit against the recent series against Pakistan, against some of the Pakistan bowlers. So, and the wickets, let's put it, did have a little bit of juice in it. So it wasn't the high scoring. I don't think. I think Pakistan got 260 odd in one of the matches, and that was the high scoring one. So I'm expecting, it would be a little bit more bowler friendly, if you can say that, in a one-day series. That means, likes of Shami Ahmed and also Bhuvaneshwar Kumar and even likes of Ravi Ashwin. So there might be a little bit focus on actually taking wickets rather than scoring runs. So it's going to be interesting to see how the pitches are, because if they are anything to go by how they were against Pakistan, our bowlers certainly need to do the job.
Absolutely, and I think from a bowling perspective, it's good to see that the youngsters have come on board and taking over the mantle. I know we've seen the likes of Ishant Sharma struggle a little bit in the Australian series, but nevertheless, guys coming in or replacing him have really done well, and it's going to be tough for Ishant to come back into that side now. Who do you think will be the standout performer? I know it's been publicly noted that I did call Rohit Sharma to have a breakout series last time. In case you guys have forgotten, and well, yeah, he did. So, going by that theory, who do you think will be the standout performer for the Indian team?
Well, it'll be a bit tough to pick. I think I'll give you two. I'll give you a batsman I think will stand out in this limited over series and a bowler. The batsman, I'm going for Shikhar Dhawan just because of his form for India A in the recent South Africa series. I know they played in a lot more batsman-friendly wickets there, but it's just got to do his confidence a world of good. Having scored like a double century in a limited overs game in South Africa only months ago. And as a and the bowling pick, I would choose Mohammad Shami just because the way he bowled in India was just magnificent, and to see him bowl on tracks that offer him more assistance, like I just hope he doesn't get carried away with the the pace and bounce of the wickets over there. But it'll be good to see him bowl in those conditions.
Most definitely. Gaurav, yourself, you're a standout performer for the Indian side?
Well, you can't go past Virat now. I think the biggest challenge for the Indian batsmen will be the mindset. I mean, playing against the West Indies and also the Australian series, they've been pretty keen to get on that front foot and drive the ball. And I mean, in South Africa, of course, we all know with the extra bounce like it is in Australia, it's not going to be conducive for that sort of stroke play. So whichever batsman can actually get his mindset right, I think will shine, especially because we're starting off with a one-day series. And I think Virat probably has that mindset better than anyone else. He's the most experienced batsman apart from Dhoni in that team. And so I expect him to do extremely well.
Absolutely. Now, as you mentioned, they're definitely going to have to change the mindset coming up against South Africa. It's not going to be as easy, or if you like, against them. And given the likes of the fact that they played against Australia and West Indies at home in home conditions on flat tracks, and with the new ODI rules saying that you can't have more than 4 players outside in the ring at any one time. In terms of their opponents, South Africa, now we've seen, they're always difficult to beat at home against any side with the likes of Sane, Morphle, Philander in the team. It's definitely going to be a big challenge. How do you think we'll cope against South Africa, and who do you think will be someone to look out for, or someone we'll have to stop in order for us to do well?
Look, I don't think it's all doom and gloom. I mean, if you'd asked me this question at the end of the Australia series in Australia in 2012, I would have been very worried about any Indian team heading to South Africa. But the way the team, especially the limited overs team, has handled themselves over the last year and a half, I don't think it will be as daunting a task as it once seemed. Obviously, Steyn is always one to look out for in the South African team, and this series will be no different. But as we saw in the Champions Trophy, the opening game India played was against South Africa on quite a bouncy track in Cardiff, and after receiving a knock to the head, Shikhar Dhawan went about his business and made his first one-day century. So look, their bowlers will be a bit of a concern, and to see them pick Jacques Kallis I feel is taking a step back for them. So I think that apart from their fast bowlers, maybe AB de Villiers might be one to look out for with the bat, and as always Hashim Amla. But I am quietly confident about how India will do in the one-day series.
It'll be very interesting to see, guys, if what South Africa actually do with their bowling. I mean, they rested Dale Steyn and Jacques Kallis for the last match against Pakistan. So with the Test series around the corner, whether they play, Morkel, Steyn, Philander, they might not. I mean, perhaps they would for the first or second, and depending on what the series is looking like. So I wouldn't be surprised if they rotate their bowlers, the great rotation system that Australia seems to have, brought in. So I wouldn't be surprised if, and especially Steyn, he's had a few niggles He had them over in the series in Dubai. He's sort of carrying them on. So it'll be interesting to see if they actually play Stain consistently. And of course, he's a major part. I mean, he doesn't become as as big as a factor as he does in the test arena. So I now think our players are so accustomed to playing these likes of Morkel, and as you mentioned, over in Champions Trophy, we seem to handle them pretty well. So I mean, I think that might decide which way this series could fluctuate, especially the one-day series.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point you make there, Gaurav. I mean, it seems like we seem to hear the same names being thrown up with South Africa, the likes of Steyn and Callis and Morkel and Philander. I mean, that's one good thing, I guess, if you like, that they seem to be a very balanced side and have been for a number of years, and obviously the experience will count for a lot against the young Indian side, which doesn't have a lot of experience, although they have played together for the last year and a half. So that's if that makes any sense at all, that would be a good thing for them. So it's certainly going to be an interesting series, and definitely we can't wait for it to get underway tomorrow night here in Australia. But speaking of the series, it's a three-match series. I'm going to ask you, who do you think? I'm hoping you'll say India to win, but give us a scoreline. Who do you think? What will be the result?
Just going by the way Pakistan kind of kept South Africa quiet at home, I will say 2-1 to India in the one-day series.
Okay, that's pretty frank there. Gaurav, yourself, any different or any other options that you think might happen?
Well, you normally find this in South Africa the weather plays a part, and I'll be surprised if one of the matches turn out to be like if not a washout, but a reduced Duckworth-Lewis game, and that could well decide who wins the series. Like I said, I think South Africa will win one, India will win one, and that third match could be decided by another factor, and it tends to happen in South Africa.
That's why we love you, Gaurav. The ultimate, the eternal diplomatic, always not going either way. But I'm going to say
it happened in the India-Australia series. So.
Well, that's true. That's true. If anybody will know, it will be you. So we'll take your word for it. Having said that, though, I'm going to stick with my guns and actually say India will win 3-0. You're laughing now, but when it does happen, I think I'll be the one laughing. It may not be so in the Test series, but I'm pretty confident that the guys can get up for the one day, as we are the world champions after all, and I seem to remind everyone out there that is the case. But yeah, I'm thinking to win 3-0. We've got a lot of big series coming up, a lot of big overseas series coming up. Finally got that out. With the South Africa one happening tomorrow, we've got New Zealand coming up in February, which some of us will actually be there, which on New Zealand, which would be good. And then we've got England coming up next year, and then obviously the big one down here in Australia next summer, followed by the World Cup defence. So we've certainly got a lot of big overseas tours coming up for Team India. For now, we'll focus on the ODI series beginning tomorrow against South Africa. Angad says 2-1. Gaurav's going with 1-1. I'm going with 3-0. That's all we have time for tonight, guys. We're back to review the series, hopefully with an Indian win, and then look forward to the Test match series following that. Thank you very much for coming on tonight, Gaurav and Angad. Always appreciate your time, gents.
Not a problem.
Cheers, Karthik.
And we'll speak to you all again soon. Look out for the links on YouTube and also the reviews hangout coming up in a couple of days' time.